What's up, guys, and welcome back to Cop Entertainment. So, there is a serious problem that is occurring in court, and it is that Advocate Baloyi has just introduced new evidence, and he has just given it to the defense, and from Norway, you know what I'm saying. And the challenge itself is that this is not the first time that Advocate Baloyi has been doing this. He has actually done this before, and he's doing it again.
We've just been handed out with some documents by the state. We cannot make sense of what these documents are. The state is also not in a position to explain to us what these documents are. So now the challenge that I have with accused number 3 is that from where I'm standing, this constitutes new evidence, which the court has ruled that it won't be part of this process. Because now if these documents were already there when this witness came and proffered his testimony initially, they should have been made available to us. Such that his explanation for whatever that he has come to explain today should also be based on the documents that are already forming part of the court record. Now we've got new information that the state wants to introduce through the back door. It has not been explained to us that what is the purpose of this document. Why were they not introduced initially when this witness came to proffer his testimony? Why now?
Are you through, sir?
I'm not even so sure, my lord, whether if I make an application that testimony of this witness should be stood down so that I go and make a sense of what these documents are. Whether I'll basically come to an understanding of what these documents are. Because they're just typewritten documents. Where do they come from? I don't know. Who prepared these documents? I don't know. But the gist of the matter is they constitute new evidence.
With this new evidence that has been presented by the state, this has obviously prompted the defense to object, because the defense was already given relevant materials to work with. But right now, they've been given new evidence that has been introduced into the court, and this is now creating tension regarding the admissibility of this new evidence. So the timing of this new evidence itself, it raises concerns about relevance and fairness. By fairness, I actually mean that the defense itself, it needs time to actually go through this evidence so that they can properly cross-examine the witnesses, etc., and actually ask relevant questions. But when it's being introduced during the middle of a court session, it's not fair to the defense itself. It gives an unfair advantage to Advocate Baloyi. So the way that I'm seeing this move by the state, it's like a tactical move to overwhelm or confuse the defense with new evidence, like introducing it amongst the evidence that is already there, because the defense will be trying to make the ABC of this evidence, trying to connect it with what is already there, where is this all coming from? And this could actually signal the state's lack of preparation or failure to disclose relevant evidence earlier on in the proceedings. So what is happening is that if the documents were actually crucial, why were they not presented at the outset of the trial itself? This could actually suggest an inconsistency in the state's handling of evidence, which may undermine the credibility of the case itself. So obviously that's why the defense had to go all out and say this evidence should not be allowed at all. It should be rejected. But unfortunately, this is where the defense finds itself, and they have to consult with their clients regarding these new documents, because they were not prepared to assess this evidence. So they now have to like find out if their clients, they actually like can know what is happening inside those documents. So Advocate Baloyi actually like provided a brief clarification of the documents themselves that they were submitting, but the limited scope of their use is actually emphasized, which might indicate that like they are trying to keep the evidence narrow to avoid further scrutiny or any like detailed analysis in itself. So the state's attempt to limit the scope of this new evidence, it's kind of like calculated, isn't it? Because it avoids digger dipping into the material that may reveal inconsistencies. If the evidence was like truly central to the case, there would have been no reason to restrict its use. So this could actually like suggest that the state is selectively using certain pieces of evidence to like fit a narrative while leaving out information that could be damaging to their case. So it turns out that these documents themselves, they actually include phone records, contact lists, you know what I'm saying? But it's a real challenge for the defense to try and work with these new phone records. So to me, the state's case in itself, let's analyze it. Obviously, there is poor management in their legal team, in terms of management, and it's like they're forcing things on the last minute with, like last minute additions. They kind of lack sufficient depth in their case. So, in such a situation, what can the defense do about this? Obviously, the defense, yeah, they can ask their clients if they know or what is happening inside these documents, but they also need additional time to analyze this newly presented evidence, because they have to understand what is going on, not only to understand it but also to verify this information, because it has to be verified that this information itself is authentic. In as much as the clients can say, okay, we understand, but the defense also has to verify the info itself. So here's the interesting part now. Judge Ratha actually ruled to allow these documents, to be used in court. So Judge Ratha actually like found that these documents, though they came late, they're actually important to the case, because like he's seeing that their inclusion of these documents, though late, it outweighs the inconvenience caused by their late disclosure. So, by accepting these documents, obviously the defense has to be given enough time to then cross examine. You get what I'm saying? These documents, so that there is a fair trial. So, yeah, this is what is happening at the Senzo Meyiwa trial. What do you think about the admission of this new evidence? Is it fair? Is it not fair to the defense, even though they've been given time to analyze those documents? I'll catch you guys in the next one.